Howdy ho, Jeepers. It's time for another flagship episode. This is our primary flagship, our flagship 1. And I don't want you guys to feel bad for April. She's on flagship 2, but that's equally as important because it does say flagship, right, Greg?
Yeah. Yep. We just get to record this one first. So that's the only reason it's number 1.
So this is Tony, and Greg's here with me again this week. And we're a day late. We're copying the Chick Chat ladies and not doing this in a timely manner. But yesterday was Labor Day, and I didn't think about us recording until 7 p.m. last night. We're supposed to record at 8 p.m. And then I sent you a message. You went, can we do it tomorrow? And I'm going,
I forgot
yes.
to. I did.
Yeah.
Just the way the weekend went. It was, we had lots going on. So
I was working on stuff
yesterday was
here.
a Sunday for my family, and I didn't even think about it till my phone was on the nightstand, and I happened to go in there to go to the restroom. Yeah. And I saw that I had notifications like, wonder who that is. Oh crap. It was Tony.
Oh, it's Monday, isn't it? It's not Sunday.
Because I didn't see the text until almost 8 o'clock. And I was like, oh no.
So tonight we're going to be talking about horsepower and torque. Does it really matter, and why? Well, of course it matters. I don't know that it matters that much, but in your heart, in the seat of your pants, flying, if you will, it makes a big difference. So, Greg, tell people who you are, who you're with, and how they can find you if they need something done on their vehicles.
So, guys, those of you that haven't seen me yet, I'm Greg Nichol from Platinum Drivetrain Works, located in Hutto, Texas, specializing in all things gear, axle related, differentials, you name it. We also dive into some other stuff when it comes to a little bit of custom fab and updates for suspension, steering, brakes, anything related to those axles. You can reach us at the shop phone number is 325-248-4000. Of course, Facebook Messenger, Instagram messages, any other way. We're on Google. If you just Google search the name. So we're here to take care of your drivetrain needs. So
and the
authorized reseller,
and the parent company is Platinum Off-Road, and that
Platinum
one's
Off-Road.
Rockwall, Texas.
Yes, sir. Yep, Mike Etherington and crew. Pretty well known for their expertise with Jeeps and Jeep modifications, repairs, and upgrades.
So speaking of Mike, we did an interview with Mike a little while ago, several months ago, and because of some YouTube irregularities, all the videos that we had put up on the other YouTube channel, they were all taken down. So I've been slowly going through the past interviews and placing them back up on our new YouTube channel. And I know many of you, they go new YouTube channel because you're probably using the xjtalk.com/YT as in YouTube to get to the channel. Is this a lot, makes a lot more sense. And who knows if they're going to take that channel down too, so we can still redirect you to wherever you need to go. Anyway, so I have re-edited the Mike interview with Platinum Off-Road, and that one should be being released shortly. The important thing I was going to tell you about is that one of our Discord members, xjtalkshow.com/contact to find out more about Discord and other ways that you can interact with the Jeep Talk Show community. They commented like they don't mind reruns, but could you tell me it's a rerun? Damn it! could you put something on there like best of or something? And I got to thinking about it and I was like, well, this really isn't the best of. This is like all the past interviews, which all of them are great. I think they're very informative, and they're a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun for me recording them. I didn't do all of them, but most of them. And so I dug around. I spoke with AI, and AI had lots of suggestions, and ultimately it gave me an idea that triggered me, because we often talk, not recently, but we often talk about our back catalog. We have over 1,300 episodes. I think we're like at 1340 or 1360. Wow. Yeah. So there's a lot of episodes that used to be on YouTube that aren't there now, but you can still hear the audio renditions of them, including Mike's interview. So, but anyway, it just makes sense to get the videos up there too. We recorded them; they were edited. Might as well put them up there so people can see, right? So anyway, if you see,
Hollywood does the same thing when they re-release movies on an anniversary date. Some that hadn't been in a theater for years, and then they bring it back out. So it's like, or a remaster. Right. Music albums and stuff. So.
And I am re-editing some of them because we've definitely got a different edited style now than what we did even 6 months ago.
We have more storage. That upgrade was made recently as well.
Yep. So if you see back catalog, that may or may not mean that you've seen it before or heard it before, but give it a few minutes and see if that's something that's new to you. And the Mike unofficial Platinum Off-Road interview should be going up today or tomorrow. So, yep, check it out. And now you have a little bit of information, more so than what you did, and you're wondering how you're getting that time back. Okay, Greg, so let's talk about horsepower and torque. Does it really matter, and why?
So, yes and no. The majority of the time, as far as Jeep owners are concerned, what we are trying to accomplish is to restore factory-like performance. So you put on your bigger tires, you raise the Jeep up with suspension, so now it's catching more air going down the road. You got all the stuff that people suffer from. Oh, my fuel mileage, my fuel economy sucks. Oh, the thing it never sees overdrive. It's always shifting around, hunting for gears. It's this.
And God bless you if you're trying to go on overpass.
So, the industry has responded. So I get the easiest way to fix that for those of us in the know is that we re-gear. And that coincides beautifully with what I do for a living.
And that's probably the cheaper alternative to the other start, what you're getting ready to talk about.
Yes. The flip side of that coin is more power. So a lot of folks, especially some old school people that, either grew up around it or have had a taste of it, the more power you've got on tap, the less gear reduction you need for a given type of terrain in a given scenario. Now, don't confuse that with the mine's loud and fast and cool, hey, look at me, versus do I really need it? And that's I'm trying to think, do you ever have a situation where you need that kind of power on tap for a normal trail rig, something you're driving every day? No, you really don't. We can accomplish all of that with gear reduction, but is it fun? Hell yes,
there
it
we go.
is.
That's what I'm thinking.
You put your foot in it and you want to feel it push you back into the seat. That's the fun. You feel torque. Horsepower is what gets you going. Torque is what you feel.
What was it? Okay? Was it Andretti?
Horsepower is what keeps you going.
Yeah,
torque is what you feel. So,
what was it, Andretti, that said horsepower will get you going? Torque is how far through the wall you go?
Yeah. So, and obviously anybody that's done any time for legitimate crawling and trail riding understands how important it is to have that gear reduction because it's control. You can do a lot more with a given vehicle in any different type of terrain if you have more control and low range for that kind of stuff. But let's say that you like to hang out at the beach, or you like to go out in the desert, or you like to play in the mud, sand, and snow in whatever capacity. Hey, horsepower will accomplish a lot of that with a bigger set of tires and axles that will handle it without having to have a 4-to-1 reduction transfer case. A really great example is looking at, if you're not familiar with it, check it out, the rock bouncer guys, where they're hill killing. The whole point of that off-road sport is to go from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill as fast as you can go. So the majority of those rigs, even with 43-inch or 44-inch tires, they're only running like a 456 gear ratio, and their transfer cases are usually somewhere around 3-to-1. And everybody goes, "Oh, that doesn't seem like it'd be worth a damn." Well, if you've got 1,600 horsepower on tap with a Whipple supercharged, V8 monster, yeah, that makes all that, because those tires are spinning just as fast as you can imagine. They're not trying to finesse it. So it's completely the opposite of what you or I would be doing on our favorite local trails, where we're taking it nice and easy, going slow, and occasionally bump the throttle. So you do have to weigh, like you mentioned a minute ago, it's a huge factor, cost. A big honking V8, if your Jeep didn't come with it, is expensive. It's expensive to build, to have the right parts. It's expensive to tune. It's expensive to maintain. And a lot of the guys that make that mistake, and I'm going to be honest, they make the mistake early on by thinking they have to have that. And then when they realize after a few trips on the trail where it's like, I don't ever get to use all this power on the trail. So other than, the kudos, attaboys, and hey, man, that sounds really great. Nasty. That's cool. It sounds great. Good
panties dropping and bras being thrown out. That's just the guys.
We're men. We want that. You got to show up the next guy. But if it's a bunch of Jeeps with V6s and 4-cylinders in it, it's not as impressive. But if you're around a bunch of other V8 equipped rigs, then you don't want to be, the guy showing up with a 3.8. you want to have something else in there that
what is it?
has
Go
the
big or go
aggressive
home?
sound
Yeah.
and presence, you know.
Yeah.
So you really do. It's like a lot of the other. How do we say it? No modification.
Goes unpunished.
Yeah, goes unpunished. So you have to be willing to accept the costs that are inherent with that kind of a step up with motors, engine power, and then you've got to be willing to put up with the finer details of it as far as maintenance and
the
operating
breakage.
expense repairs. Yeah, because if you go out and you beat on it all the time, stuff's going to wear out faster.
Let me ask you this real quick, and this is definitely a drivetrain question, axle question. So if you put a lot of horsepower on axles and you don't re-gear the axles to be, like 456 or 488 or where you're overcoming the solution to me is changing out the differentials. That's the correct way of fixing it. Before you add power, that's what you do. In my mind, I may be wrong.
No, you're absolutely right.
Does the high horsepower on axles with 373s or something like that, it may be fine for going up that hill or going off road, but is it putting more stress on the axles at the lower gear ratio? I mean, at the higher numeric gear ratio, if it does lower the lower or the higher, I'm sorry, the lower gears, higher gear ratio, does that make it easier on
higher?
Yeah. Does that make it easier on the axles because it's easier for them to? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with how much torque is being put in there.
It does. It absolutely does. So there is a limit to any given axle assembly's ability to take that kind of power versus torque. And the old adage is still the same. It will never change. The further down the chain we add the gear reduction, the less stress everything up the chain will see. So having an ultra low gear transfer case takes an immense amount of stress off of a transmission. Having deeper geared axles takes the stress off the transfer case. And some of the other, like your drive shafts and your pinion yokes and all of those components suffer for that. I've seen it, and there's a limit to what you can get away with. I've seen in the past when I was real big into mud bogging and mud racing, there was a lot of guys that would run, half-ton 10-bolt axles or a 12-bolt Dana 44 combo with, 373s or 355s or something, and in a 6,000-pound full-size rig, they would stick, a fire-breathing big block in there and just mat on it everywhere they went. The tires are basically just spinning in the mud. Right, you're not banging up against roots or rocks or ledges or any of that kind of stuff. So
there's
those
not a lot of start and stopping. Not a lot of shock loads.
They'll put up with that for a while, but the shock loading on the actual teeth of the ring and pinion is still the same. And if it does get away from you, where a tire comes out of the mud off the ground and then comes back into contact while it's spinning at literally 60 miles an hour tire rotation. Oh, that's a hard hit, and those components are going to suffer for it. So there's still you still have to qualify everything together numerically to make sure that it will support the mod that you're doing. A prime example is with the 392 Gladiators. The transfer case in those Jeeps is an all-wheel drive transfer case. You can't physically stick it in two-wheel drive from the factory because FCA Stellantis knew that putting a 392 in that thing and trying to send all of that power to just the rear end was a recipe for disaster if somebody wanted to get froggy. So they basically force you to use it in all-wheel drive so that it's splitting that power, between both ends as much as possible.
So the 44 that's in the 392 is not capable of handling that much power. That's what you're telling me.
On its own, it will handle it for a little while, but it won't be long for this world if you're constantly matting on it. Like I said, I've told the story before.
I guarantee you I'd be constantly matting on it.
I had I would probably do the same thing, to be honest with you. If the 6.0 ever ends up in the front of my Jeep, I'm not going to drive it like a V6 anymore. I'm going to probably be a little bit more aggressive with it. One of my most recent examples, I had a 4-door JL. It started life as a stock Rubicon, but the guy had, I think it was Dakota Customs was the one that actually did it. It had the Hellcat motor in it, supercharged, dyno proven, 707 horsepower at the back tires to the ground. And he had the UD60s from Dana Spicer, the ultimate Dana 60s on both ends. With less than 3,000 miles on these axles and 48 gears, he went to a meetup and got froggy trying to show off and do a burnout in two-wheel drive. And it took 3 teeth off the pinion gear doing it on a Dana 60 gear set. These gears were so fresh, these axles were so new that the factory Spicer gear marking compound was still on the ring gear. And he managed to blow it up.
Surprised.
With that motor.
I mean, I know you can break anything.
40-inch Nittos, he sent them suckers to white smoking, and about 4 seconds later, it started making all kinds of bad grindy pow noises out of the back end.
I'm sorry, it wasn't just a 392. I'm sorry, I'm just now processing what you said. It was a 700 horsepower 392. So
707 horsepower supercharged Hellcat motor. So again, there are limits to pretty much the guys. Again, I'll go back to it. The rock bouncer guys, they break stuff all the time. Most people don't realize how many times on a given weekend they're tearing stuff up because of just how hard they're pushing them and how much power they've got.
You see one go up the hill, and then the next one comes up and goes up the hill. That one's old news. I don't care if it's broken. Bring the other one in here. Yeah, the crowd doesn't give a damn. They're not paying the bills.
Carnage. A lot of those folks watch it, the ones that are really diehard fans for it. It's just like watching NASCAR. You're not watching it to see him go around in circles for 2.5 hours. You want to see the pileup. You want to see the carnage. It's like watching monster trucks. Yeah, I can watch wheelies and donuts all day long. Go smash some shit. I want to see something cool, So people don't appreciate how much power it really is to, like, when you start asking for that, honestly, the money is insane. From a personal standpoint, based on my upbringing and my background and what I've been around, for a street-driven vehicle, unless you are like well in tune with your skill set on how to handle that kind of power, anything north of 400, 500 horsepower to the actual back tires, not at the crank,
right?
Because there's a difference. That's a lot for a driven vehicle. You don't realize how much it is if you've never been behind the wheel of one, and it takes a lot of skill and attention, to be able to manage that and not have it get away from you or do damage. So, you got to pick and choose those battles wisely. And can your pocketbook put up with it? Will your old lady put up with it? Because I guarantee you, if you go do like this guy did, you strap that kind of power into a rig, even with built 1 tons, you're going to find all the weak points really fast. So
I don't see. Well, I think we've talked about this before. I don't see how people afford the tow rig, the trailer, the motor home, and all that other stuff that they take out to these
it's
events.
Just a different tax bracket than you and I are used to. It's I don't begrudge anybody. It's capitalism 101, baby. Get that paid.
I don't begrudge them. I just want to know how they're doing it. I think it's 4 credit cards.
What's the secret?
Yeah. Four credit cards and
$35,000 in credit card debt.
And 50. And
when they call, I say I can't pay them back yet.
The 5th credit card is the one you roll over to for payments, and you just keep rolling them.
Yeah. And the points, so you can save the points. Do you hear about the guy that when the Sacagawea quarters came out, it was a big deal? Do you remember those? When they made a big deal about that? There was a guy that used his Amex card, and he bought $200,000 worth of those Sacagawea quarters direct from the mint, and then took them and deposited in the bank to pay back the credit card tab, and just boom, instant points, and a ton of them.
Oh my goodness!
Talk about gleaning the system. That's pretty cool. If you got a credit card that can handle that kind of purchase power,
I would be kind of nervous doing that. But yeah, it's that's just using money. I mean, people. That's the way people make money. They use money.
He was smart about it. So
OPM, other people's money.
Yep. So
all right. So anyway, horsepower and torque. Is it a guarantee that if you get more horsepower, you're getting more torque?
Not necessarily. So when we talk about horsepower and torque, a lot of people don't realize that there is a range from, basically idle up to whatever the maximum RPM you'll ever push the motor to. Mm-hmm. And I'll pick on the LS boys for a minute because I'm fixing to be one sooner than later. A well-built 5.3 or 6.0 or any of those, even a 6.2, they really don't start making big time power until north of 3,000 RPM. Given the most popular head, camshafts, exhaust combinations, intakes, and all that stuff. They're really building them for more mid-range and top-end power. That's where you see the most gains. Again, like we discussed a moment ago, if I'm in first gear, low range, and going 1.5 miles an hour down the trail, that 5,000, 6,000 RPM horsepower and torque number doesn't mean shit. because I'm not breaking, 2,500 doing what I'm doing, unless it is a sincere, throttle bump to go up something. So for crawling, those numbers don't mean shit. It's just bragging rights at that point.
Right.
The torque, like the way I intend to set up my 6.0 when I go through it, I'm going to get a choppy cam and I'll have some decent exhaust, but I don't want it too loud. And I want to build bottom end torque because of what I do with the rig. Is it going to have some highway power and pass like nobody's business? Yeah. But I'm really shooting for that sub 3,500 mark for my cam selection and what I do to the heads and everything else, because I know, other than going up and down the freeway, I need that torque and that power down low. And the horsepower to me doesn't matter. Again, it's just a bragging right number is all that is. 350 horsepower, more than enough for what I'm doing. I want 400 foot-pounds of torque and a flat torque curve right off idle up to about 3 grand. That's what I want, which is also a really good recipe for tearing stuff up if you don't have the axles that will handle that kind of torque.
More torque means more stress on more drivetrain components, right?
Yep. So we're significantly increasing. If we're talking about a more stock-minded Jeep, if you're taking your off the lot, Wrangler or Gladiator with a 392 in it, as powerful as those things are, there is parasitic drivetrain loss that you have to compensate for when doing your math. So just because it's making 500 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque at the flywheel, by the time it goes through all the rest of the drivetrain and actually makes it to the ground, you can knock 30 to 40% off of those numbers pretty much immediately.
Yeah, that's really sad.
So,
I don't know, you guys may not be up on this. I found it kind of interesting. This is years ago when I first started hearing this. There, you can measure the horsepower at the flywheel, and I think a lot of those measurements are theoretical, or it's put on a stand, or
an engine dyno.
Yeah, or you take it and you've seen the things where engines or vehicles blow up, tires blow up, and stuff whenever they're
chassis
actually,
dynos.
Yeah, on the chassis dyno, that's the rear wheel horsepower. So the measurements are different. I didn't realize there was 30-40% difference. That's a lot of parasitic drag.
It can, depending upon what combination of components you have.
Well, it's even more so with a 4-wheel drive because you got more parasites associated with
your
that.
Your average 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive setup, it could be 15 or 20% depending upon how it's set up and what you're putting it through. Tire diameter, the weight of the vehicle, like all this other stuff we talk about, all these things are very, very key points. That 392 and your Gladiator versus a 392 and your XJ, that's a world of difference, because the XJ is significantly lighter than the Gladiator.
Well, it was at one point.
Hypothetically, if we're not counting all armor and upgrades and stuff. So, and it's the same thing. A 2-door Wrangler is going to feel more peppy with a 2.0 and a turbocharged 2.0 and an 8-speed automatic off the line than a 7,000 or 8,000 pound decked out Gladiator with a 392 and the same transmission. It's just going to feel better till you seat in the pants, even though it's making a fraction of the power.
Right.
So I get in trouble when I drive my wife's because it does have the turbo 2.0 in it with 8-speed auto, but it's stock size tires. Everything's bone stock. I mean, every time I put the thing on the highway, when I'm doing the access ramp, it's turbo power. I say it out loud, and all the kids go, wee! And the wife's like, stop it. It's like, I can't help it. It feels good. My Jeep doesn't feel like that.
So your kids will be on the stand and say, what was it that your dad said right before the accident when he was on the on-ramp? Turbo power.
Turbo power. That's true, though. I'm telling you, it's going to be, when I get my V8 in, it's going to be hard not to. It just feels good. It's fun to show off, But
I mean, that's part of actually having that, is using it. I mean, don't anybody be dangerous. Don't anybody kill anybody, including yourself. But why in the hell would you want a 700 horsepower? Not saying yours will be, but why in the world would you want a 700 horsepower engine to keep it using 100 horsepower all the time? I mean, come on.
Again, it's bragging, right? I mean, why would you spend $2.5 million on some Italian exotic supercar? because you can. It's not like most of those guys aren't going out driving those cars like they're meant to be driven.
Those things are outside. I don't trust it. I mean, just the weather can ruin your day.
Yeah. Most of those people that are spending that kind of money on those cars, they're either going into climate controlled collections somewhere as an investment piece, or they pussyfoot them around. I'm just being real. I mean,
right.
you see the videos all the time where they curb check a Lance or something, and it's like everybody goes, ooh, it's like, well, yeah, they just did $8,000 worth of damage to a custom piece of carbon fiber.
So this is one of the things I can say positive, very positive about Quadratech. Greg Henderson, built two SEMA vehicles for Quadratech, that YJL and especially the JTE, the two-door 4xe electric Gladiator.
The JTE was a sweet build, and I don't even like the hybrid electric stuff, but it was still a really nice build.
But that thing, I mean, I've seen it in person. In 2023, I was on a Quadratech run, invite-only run. I got invited because of Henderson. And they were trying to. It was Metal Masher, and the gatekeeper. I guess it's a gatekeeper at the beginning of that trail. They were trying to drive that thing up almost a vertical wall, and they tried it with V6 power, and then they tried it with electric motor power. They tried it both ways, and it was so funny seeing that JTE almost vertical in electric mode, making no noises except the tires, chirping, trying to get up that thing. But they take it out and drive the hell out of it. They load stuff up in it and they use it, and that was a lot of work that Henderson did. And they paid a lot of money. Not only just for that 4xe, but also to all the modifications that Greg did.
All the stuff.
If you guys don't know about Henderson and his changes, his things that he modifies, it's absolute artwork. It's just gorgeous. Look up the Quadratech JTE. I believe it was, I think that was the 2023 SEMA. It wasn't 24. No, they didn't have one. I don't think they had one for 24 or 2025. I'm hoping he gets to do one this upcoming one. I don't think so, but he does beautiful work.
Yeah, the electric driven ones like your Teslas and stuff, that instant torque. Again, that torque is what you feel.
Well, you were talking about parasitic drag. Think of it as if you could put an electric motor at each wheel or near each wheel. Yeah, on each corner. Now you're losing a lot of the parasitic drag that we have.
It's all but eliminated, and it's instant torque.
Yeah, and it will twist a titanium drive shaft in half.
Yep.
You people don't understand when I get excited about electric vehicles. You go, oh, EV bullshit. No, it is the future, and whenever we get there and we have the power and the long-term power to use it, you're going to say, God, I miss the V8 noise. But my God, this is just so superior.
The performance value is amazing.
Well,
but
it's the
if
efficiency.
You're old school like me, you want the...
Oh, of course.
There's just something about burning dinosaur fuel.
The smell.
And, the smell, the sound,
rubber smell.
the visceral experience.
You can still get the rubber smell because you'll be burning tires.
Oh, yeah.
But
when I first put the 45s under mine, that came out, when they brought them back to market, the second gen 45-inch SX2s, the first thing I did after we got them mounted and installed was go out in the parking lot and start trying to spin them. That was the very first thing I did. And my buddy that was there shooting the video was like, are you sure you want to do this? These are some big old tires. I'm like, it's a Dana 80. I'm not worried about it. Yeah. And I was just laying down black marks after black marks after black marks. It was like, it's good. It's fine. These tires aren't cheap, but you can't just slap them on there and then do all the beauty shots. You got to show people it's like, I'm willing to use and abuse this stuff. I'm not just spending the money for the peanut gallery to say, hey, look at me. It's like,
somebody posted
a video
to
see if the axle would hold up.
Somebody posted a video on Instagram the other day where they were burning, I don't think it was a 4-wheel drive burnout, but they were certainly burning the two rear tires, and they were large, expensive tires. And I think my comment was, I had AI calculated it. That was $13.42 of tire that you just burned.
Yep. You measure the 30 seconds on your tread depth versus the retail cost of the tire and divide that. So every 30 seconds that you burn off of it or shave off on the rocks or waste going down the road, that's how much it's costing you.
Yeah. But it's so fun. And it is a cool thing to do right before you get new tires.
Excuse me. Oh, yeah. No, the intercos, and I know a lot of people don't realize this even about a lot of really popular radials. They still need to be broken in. I don't care what tire it is. You got to go break them in. You got to knock them hard edges off, soften them up so they'll grip. you know, and it doesn't matter what air pressures you're running, you want the tires to bite. And I'm being specific to like rock crawling and stuff. Not an issue if you're a snow, mud, or sand guy. You're not going to do that. But for those of us that are rock crawling and trail riding, you will notice you get brand new shoes on. They feel real good on the pavement. And then the first couple outings on the trail, it's like, man, I was hoping these would flex a little better or maybe bite a little better. You put 3 or 4 more trips on them and really start feathering the edges and getting that rounded and start softening up the compound, get past that first 30-second. Then they start biting and you're like, oh, this is really good.
Well, it's probably radically different in the cold weather as opposed to the warm weather. Yeah. All right, so
driving 9 to the shop on bias tires when it's cold. They flat spot overnight, so it's like,
oh wow,
for the first 3 miles till they warm up, then they smooth back out. In the summertime, they're like butter, just nice and easy. So
wrapping up the horsepower and torque thing, it sounds like to me that we've established that the best thing to do is re-gear first, and then if you want to put more power in it, go with more power. You got the money, you got the time, do them both. And check with somebody that's experienced, or go online, because it's going to cost you a lot of money. And you don't have to do a crate engine. You don't have to do, $30,000 axles. You don't have to do $45,000 crate engine. It's not a bad way to go. But I mean, you can do a lot of DIY, or go to a shop like Platinum Off-Road and ask these guys, and have alternatives. Hell, even High Lift Off-Road up in Cincinnati. We'll stick a Hemi in the Jeep for you.
Oh yeah, there's lots of outfits that are doing it and doing it well. So if you, like I said, if the pocketbook will support, I got asked numerous times why I only did 513s. And I was like, why did you do that? Those big old axles? It's because I knew eventually I was going to have a V8 at some point, and I didn't want to do 538s or a deeper ratio in mine. Right. And then not be happy with it because it was overgeared effectively, for the powertrain. So,
and it doesn't matter if you know how to do it, and the labor, but that's work you could be doing for somebody else making money.
Yep.
And why? Yep. And it still work, no matter, even if it's easy for you to do, it still works. So yeah, it makes sense. Go with the right thing first. And you don't have to, and that's one of the things we do here. We try to keep you we help you spend money, but at the same time, I think we help you spend it less often. So,
or spend it more wisely.
There we go. That would be the less often.
I mean, for those of you out there, again, if you're going to be out in the desert all the time, bombing through the whoops, playing in the snow, hot rodding in the sand and stuff, you could definitely have a nice hot rod style setup that will accomplish those goals and still, be drivable. And that won't be like competition use only. If you're somebody that honestly you're going to spend the majority of your time in places like Moab or, back east, the rock crawling, not necessarily hill killing, then put the money into good suspension, good gear ratio, good axle shaft, spend it more wisely. Don't blow a bunch of money on a supercharger or something for your V6 because you just feel inadequate.
Right.
Don't fall for that trap. Those are the guys that are just messing with your head.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend taking it low or taking it slow on rocks and things. You really don't have to have much of a Jeep, just a Jeep Wrangler Gladiator to do rock crawling, and then you can do modifications to it. If you're going to get into the hill climbs, the high-speed hill climbs, or anything high-speed, especially with things that where the torque changes with the terrain that you're hitting, you make sure you have very deep pockets or a brand new $35,000 credit card.
Jake Berkey from Busted Knuckle Off-Road, famous rock bouncer builder and former racer, he posted up the other day on Facebook, and it was just a simple question. Which would you rather have? All the horsepowers or really, really good suspension? 95% of the comments in the 300 that I read through, suspension. Everybody was like, I'd rather have $30,000 worth of suspension that's set up properly than a $30,000 race engine. And a $30,000 race engine is really like bottom tier entry level. You got to get into the 50, 60 and up before you start seeing the really, really, really big numbers. So
I think if you've got the skills or you have the team, you can get away with a lot of that cost, but it's still going to be really frustrating breaking things. So anyway, with that, let's, I wonder if Nikki G is going to talk about putting a V8.
I love the Nikki G nuggets.
I wonder if he's thinking about putting a 700 horsepower Hemi in his XJ. I doubt it, but let's see.
Hey, I'm out here at the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. Ran into this guy. How do turtles communicate?
How do turtles communicate? I don't know.
Through shell phones.
Nice.
And now you're part of it.
All right, Greg. Well, fun talking to you. A little bit shorter episode, but that's our fault for recording on Tuesday night because we have a roundtable coming up. People are going, roundtable? What? It's not Wednesday. Well, we record on Tuesday.
Yep.
And you can be part of the roundtable. You can be part of the Zoom meeting that we do that we record the roundtable from. And they are self-named Zoom people that are there and ready to talk to you, ready to talk to our viewers out there. And you can join. Just go to xjtalkshow.com/contact and see how you can join us in the Zoom meeting. It might be too late for you to do it right now because we're getting ready to start recording the Zoom meeting here in just a few minutes. But you can do it next week. It's every week, every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's the pre-party. So you've got from 7:30 to 8 Central Time to get there before the show starts. And you can join after 8 p.m., but you might be lost. You might come in like Roger does and says, hey, have you guys ever thought about blah, 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 blah? And we just talked about it 5 minutes ago. But you're not Roger, so we won't tease you much. All right, so are you ready to join the Jeep Talk Show crew? Become a Patreon subscriber today at xjtalkshow.com/contact and unlock exclusive perks while supporting the show. Keep the adventure rolling by leaving a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help grow our Jeep community. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And comment. We love the comments. You need to give us some comments here. We'll actually read them here on the show.
Comments, questions, absolutely, yes.
So stay in the loop by following us on social media and signing up for our newsletter for the latest Jeep news and must attend events. Rubicon, I know Zabo is going to Rubicon here this month, September. I think it's towards the end of the month. I need to go look at our Discord server and see the date on it. I think it's September 24th. My daughter's birthday.
He's getting the Jeep back from Mike today or tomorrow. They just got his suspension resorted out from his last outing.
He bent something, did he?
Holy Cross and Carnage Canyon. So yeah, he tacoed some control arms, and they're just now getting him trail ready again, so he can get back out there and get after it. Mm-hmm. You guys haven't checked out his build. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous ride. Texas Rattler is the name of that Jeep, and it is amazing. Mike and the crew did some awesome work on that one. So. Mm-hmm.
Hey, got a question or an idea for our next episode? Send it our way at xjtalkshow.com/contact. Thanks for riding along, and let's hit the trail for more epic adventures. See you next week.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.